I'm very happy to present Dr. Neil Barnard.
Thank you, Gary. Can you hear me okay in the back? Okay. You can? If you can't, just wave your arms. I won't see you, but you'll get good aerobic exercise. Working? Hello? How about this one? How about that one? Is that better? Yeah. If you were on a perfect diet, you could have heard this one. Okay. Anyway, I'm Neil Barnard. Thank you, Terry. By the way, have you read? Terry has the most wonderful books. If you have not had a chance to read them or make her recipes, you better do it because I've been doing it, and they're great. I have to say, it's sort of a word of apology. Even though I'm on the faculty at George Washington University and have done a number of research studies, including some funded by NIH, I always feel funny about giving nutrition lectures, because the truth is, I grew up in Fargo, North Dakota, and my whole extended family is in the cattle business. And my grandpa was a cattle rancher, all of his, my great-grandfathers over there were all in the cattle business, and my dad grew up as a cattle rancher too, and he didn't like it. He left it and went to medical school, and he spent his life treating diabetes in Fargo, North Dakota. But we still ate like we were in the cattle business, which means every day of my life it was roast beef, baked potatoes, and corn. Except for special occasions when it was roast beef, baked potatoes, and peas. And it was a while before I figured out that there was a better way forward. And what I thought I might like to focus on for today is the concept of this new Kicksta program. Have any of you heard about our Kicksta program that we have? It's kind of a cool thing, and I just wrote a new book about it, and I kind of wanted to tell you about some of the concepts. It started with a research study that we did back a number of years ago, where we brought in a group of people who they just wanted to lose weight. And so we reasoned that people try all kinds of things to lose weight. They starve themselves, they cut calories, they eliminate carbohydrates, all kinds of things that over the long run don't pay off very well for them. But if you look around the world, the people who are the thinnest and live the longest and are the healthiest are those who are eating a primarily plant-based diet. For example, you look at Japan. What's the dietary staple of Japan? They're eating rice, right? For breakfast, for lunch, for dinner. They're not on an Atkins diet. The idea of not eating rice is crazy to them. They're very, very thin, and they don't start gaining weight until cheese and meat come in the form of McDonald's. You know what they say, when you see the golden arches, you're on the road to the pearly gates. That's what's happened in Japan. They're heavier now because they're eating less rice and they're eating more meat, more cheese. So we decided, okay, for this group of people to lose weight, let's put them on a totally plant-based diet, no animal products at all. That gets rid of all the animal fat. Let's keep the oils low, that's it, that's the whole program. So here's what we did. We brought in a group of people, let me see. Can you see that okay? Yeah. We brought in a group of women. Everybody was after the age of menopause. They were all moderately to severely overweight. They really felt stuck. And we said, okay, low-fat vegan diet. And we always have to say, a vegan is not a person from the planet. Veganist means no animal products at all. Now, we said no exercise. Exercise is good. I'm all for it. But this was not an exercise study. We wanted that health constant 14 weeks. And we found a couple of really interesting things. One of the things we found is that people's metabolism started to speed up, and we found that their appetite started to get back in control. But let me first show you what the kinds of foods they were eating. They could have a big bowl of oatmeal, and if that tasted like wallpaper paste, they would put cinnamon and raisins or blueberries or strawberries, whatever they wanted on top. They could have a half a cantaloupe or a whole cantaloupe or 2 cantaloupes. There was no calorie counting. Unlimited portion. They could have rye toast, but no butter, right? This is a vegan diet, okay? If they had chili, it would be a vegetarian chili. They could have a green salad. They could have bananas and all the fruit they wanted. They were free to have spaghetti. Now tell that to a person on Atkins who says, oh no, you can't have spaghetti. We let them have it, but no meat sauce. No creamy Alfredo sauce. Lots of vegetables. So, this is a pretty simple diet. And what we found was that over time, they started to lose weight. So your average person lost 13 pounds in 14 weeks. And we tracked them for the next 2 years. They were skinnier at a year than they were at the beginning. They were skinnier at 2 years than at 1 year. In other words, the weight loss became a one-way street. As long as they stuck with these healthy foods, the weight never came back. And their weight line slimmed down. But also something else happened. This is going to be on the test. When you eat a meal, your body starts burning calories faster after the meal. The nutrients from the foods go into your cells and they get burned up. Or they can also turn to body fat and be stored. But if your metabolism ramps up so that your after-meal burn is higher and higher and higher, you're getting rid of more of the foods that you're eating as energy, not storing it as fat. You with me? Mm-hmm. So I want to show you what actually happens inside the cell. Okay, this is one of your cells. I stick a needle in your leg, and I pull out a muscle cell. And a muscle cell looks like a spindle shape. It's this big blue thing. That's a muscle cell. And sugar from the foods you eat enters into the cells, and there it can be burned. Except for one thing. People on Western diets build up fat inside their cells. Fat. Chicken fat, beef fat, lard, olive oil. All kinds of fat builds up inside the cell. And that stops this from working. Keeps the natural sugars from entering the cell. But what we found is in the course of our study, that fat starts melting away. Keep in mind there's no animal fat in this diet. There's not much oil. So the fat starts draining out of the cell. The sugars can enter into the cell to be burned instead of being stored, and their metabolism increases. So the other thing is they're eating all these healthy foods, beans and vegetables and so forth. And if you're eating a lot of high-fiber foods, the stomach gets full. You feel full, you say, I think I'll quit eating. As opposed to a person who's eating meat or cheese, there's no fiber in these things at all. But they're not from a plant, so they don't have plant roughage. So that's what fiber is. There's no fiber to fill you up, so you just keep eating cheese until you've gotten a humongous amount of calories, and the results show up on the scale. So these are the foods that we encourage people to eat. 4 food groups: fruits, grains, legumes, vegetables. And this is Geico. You know the car insurance company? When I look out my office window, that's what I see. And their national headquarters is near my office in Washington, D.C. Well, there are 2,500 people working in that building, and Geico is self-insured. So they started thinking, wait a minute, we've got a lot of overweight people here, and every time anybody goes on a cholesterol-lowering drug, we got to pay for it. That's $3, $4, $5 a day per person. So they said, why don't you do a vegan diet here at Geico? Wow. So really, all we did was 2 things. We said, your cafeteria has to have vegan food. So they might have a regular hamburger, they've got to have a veggie burger or a portobello sandwich or something like that. They can have the greasy bacon and eggs for breakfast, but they've got to have an oatmeal bar. And they should have lentil soup and split pea soup, and the healthy choices in addition to all the unhealthy ones. And the second thing was we asked that they have 1 day a week at lunchtime a little talk session for anybody who decided they wanted to go vegan. So we could have a cooking instructor or a dietitian come in for just an hour, and we could talk together about going vegan. And so we had a whole lot of people go vegan at this site. And another site in Fredericksburg, Virginia said, okay, we'll be your control group. We won't do any program, but we'll all get on the scale and we'll see how they do. And here's what happens. If you live in Fredericksburg, Virginia, and you do not change your diet, you know what happens to your weight?
Goes up.
Nothing! You weigh 220 pounds, and you still weigh 220 pounds. But if you're in my program, you start losing weight and losing weight and losing weight and losing weight. And then their waist circumference changed. In Fredericksburg, they got a little bit wider, but in Chase, or this is Washington, D.C., they slimmed down. And there were 2 people in the back of the room named Hillary and Bruce. And they came to every one of our discussion sessions. But I really, as the weeks went by, I got a little frustrated with them because they were chattering a lot. Hillary would say something to Bruce, and Bruce would say something to Hillary. They were talking. And I thought, why are you even here? We're trying to help people get over their diet issues. Well, you know what? You can be wrong about things, and I was wrong about them. Because they were talking a lot, but what they were talking about was how they were going to make this diet work in their lives, and what they were going to buy in the store on the way home, and how they were